Good evening and welcome. Today we have Mr. Vinay Krishna, a guest speaker. And to introduce Mr. Vinay Krishna, he is a technocrat who's in the software development industry for decades. He's founder and CEO of Ledgerify IT Solutions, founder and director technology of Pingala Software, founder of Technical Agility Institute, and creator of Technical Agility Conference. He has authored 10 plus papers published in various international journals and conference proceedings. Two of his papers are translated into Chinese language by Scrum Network in China. In 2014, he won the IT Innovation Award from Computer Society of India. He has been giving talks and lectures at prestigious engineering colleges, universities, and various organizations. He has served as a guest professor at BITS Pilani and Manipal University. He has created Agile Bangalore User Group. He has also served as Secretary and Management Committee member of Computer Society of India, Bangalore chapter. About his company, it is an ecosystem of decentralized communication solutions integrated with decentralized finance, which is on a mission to protect digital rights of internet users in decentralized way. Welcome, Mr. Vinay. Over to you.
Thanks, Manju. I'm audible, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for nice introduction. So usually I say like I am a 22 years old. So with all this introduction, we feel like, okay, it's I'm 22 years old in software development, right? So, and yeah, of course, I love technology. So I work on different technologies, and one of the recent which I attracted me a lot is on blockchain. And at the same time, we were just looking at what different kind of you can say problem statement that can be solved through this, right? So in that regard, today I'm just going to present you about secured email service, which is based on blockchain, right? Okay, so if you look at, right, email is very much popular, right? The moment we see we have to send our information or we have to share something with somebody, most formal way of, right, there are lots of informal communication channels are there nowadays, which is quite popular, like a WhatsApp is there, or maybe the Telegram that we use, or sometimes we text as an SMS. But if you look at like a formally, whether we are going to interact with internal inside our organization or outside, we use this email system, right? And at the same time, the email contains lots of sensitive information and files, right? So I'm just talking about right now from the enterprise perspective, but you can just think from individual also, right? Do you have fear of data leak or data loss through those emails? Can the system that we are using right now read our mails? So if it is not a data leak or data loss also, but can system read the mails or not? And just give you one example, like if you look at your Gmail, the moment you will do some search outside in Google or somewhere, right? Or maybe you are sending an message somebody like I want or something on that product related or any kind of services, you will see some promotional mail related to that, right? And how secure is attachments? How many of you feel like you have some sensitive information you have kept into your draft folder? Or how many times you feel like you are getting lots of sensitive information, maybe from your banks, maybe from your any healthcare system, right? And though it's a password protected, but at the same time, that entire email talks about how to open that, right? So what does it mean? If you look at, there are lots of facts, maybe you guys are already aware of, that almost like a 60% of organizations has experienced data loss or exfiltration that has caused by an employee mistake on email in the last 12 months. And when I'm talking about this data, this has been just collected, if I'm not wrong, in June or July, right? So in 12 months, that is what they have seen, right? 95% of IT leaders believe that client or company data is at risk on email. right? So there are multiple facts. I don't want to go through with all of them, but yes, of course, the whole point that I'm trying to make here is there is a concern on the email security that we are having. So what is the problem statement on this side? Yes, email is having that sensitive information. Don't we have enough security measures if you look at from the enterprise side and everything, right? Can we not use that? So let's look at what we have, right? So what is the problem here? That the email services, whatever we are using, are still based on something which is very obsolete and cumbersome, those protocols, right? Transfer protocols, and that infrastructure, whatever we are talking about. It uses all those protocols has been made sometime in 80s, 90s, late 80s and the early 90s sometime, right? And last they have been upgraded in 2008. And if you look at from that time to till now, the hackers has been sophisticated a lot. They know how to do email phishing, spoofing, spamming, tampering, whatever, right? We are trying to build something on the top of that, but yes, we are always finding that is not sufficient. The reason is that protocol nature itself, right? I will talk to that little later, right? Then another thing is, if you look at in general, that email service provide no security, no encryption, no user privacy measures. It is not there. And the last one is like it is centralized. So anything is happening, anything is getting compromised. Lots of time we see that, okay, this particular application has been compromised and these many data has been leaked out, right? So that is what we are talking about: centralized governance of data, breach of user privacy, all those things, right? So let's look at some of the protocol challenges like SMTP. If you look at, so if you look at SMTP, that has been built in such a way that it can only work with plain text base64 ASI format only. So no matter whatever we are going to do, that it will go in that way. So, and that will be on SMTP port 25, right? So it will only accept the plain text, right? And with that ASCII format. So that is one. If you look at TLS, lots of time we feel like, okay, it's an encrypted service, right, that we are going to get here. But if you look at the TLS, only supports you or only protects you when your email is in transit. That means when it is on the transfer, right? Once it has reached to that server or wherever, right, the sensitive data that will not be secure, right? And even at that moment when we are saying that it is encrypted, it is like a point to point, that network, it is encrypted, and not the payload data also, right? So yes, of course, all those are making hackers much easy to play around with there, right? So what is the solution? What we have done, we have built a closed loop intercommunication system, and I will tell you like how it can become an intra also or outside as well, right? Where we have tried to not tried, but we have replaced completely. We are not using any traditional email transfer protocols, IMAP, SMTP, anything, right? We are using immutable, tamper-proof, revolutionary protocols, communication protocols based on blockchain technology. We are providing military-grade security with this solution. That means all the features of blockchain technology are inherited, and along with that, we are making it as cryptographic algorithm with asymmetric encryption, right? One thing which usually people feel like if it is a blockchain, it will not be that much fast. We have worked on that also, like how it can be like fast, like how we are going with the email system, right? Privacy is being maintained. That means user will have those keys. Enterprise level, yes, of course, we are also giving a 2 level of those security part, right? One is at the admin and one is at the user level. Decentralized, what we are doing, what we mean by decentralized, like your files, attachments, everything, right, is being managed with something like a kind of IPFS, if you are aware of that kind of network, which we built. That is our own solution. And there it will getting completely decentralized, stored and managed, right? If you look at architecture side, yes, of course, on the sender, right, they will be having the private key, right? And even though your client is there, right, which is available with the web or it is also getting integrated with, we are having a mobile app also. We can integrate with the Outlook as well, right? Outlook web as well, your Outlook client, whatever, right? So unless we are not clicking on that particular, anyway, I will come to that, right? So once we are logging into that with the private key, we are having those information available. Whenever we are trying to send an email, it will get encrypted with the public key of the receiver, right? And that will reach out to the server. From there, some metadata, anyway, it's getting maintained when somebody is getting onboarded to that system. And the information will go to the private blockchain. Some of the information files will get encrypted, and that will be also stored into kind of like a IPFS kind of network. Then from the receiver side, they will be using their private key, and based upon that, that mail or attachment will be getting open for them. And it will be always when somebody is clicking on that, then only it will get opened, right? So even at the client end, if it is be there, it will be completely secure. If it is in the server also, since we are using that asymmetric key, and that is with the user only, so each of those emails, whenever it has been sent by the user, will be with those keys only encrypted, right? So even the compromise or whatever we are talking about, data loss cannot be possible in that case. So what is the key feature that we are gaining from here? That decentralized, secure, trustless key sharing mechanism, right? No protocol level dependency on current email systems, right? End-to-end offline asymmetric encryption with open source cryptographic algorithm that we use, right? We are getting a tamper-proof encrypted sharing of emails, files, and attachment in a decentralized way. It is well suited, I will tell you, like suppose we are implementing that at one enterprise, right? So what will happen for their employees? They can get onboarded to this system, and for all their sensitive communication, right? They can do it freely with this particular system. Now, some questions may arise, like enterprise does not only talk internally, but they also talk to that outside people as well. So there's no problem. They can also get onboarded to this system. And from this channel only, they will be able to communicate freely whenever there is a sensitive information getting exchanged, right? So that way they will be able to manage. The another thing is, it is on their own premise. So you just imagine, like when we were talking about it is completely decentralized, if you are using any of those big email service provider, basically there are something like a centralized way they are managing and maintaining. So that part itself will go completely out of the picture. So you will be maintaining your email system, this secure email system, and managing that, right? So you own your data, no one else, right? Technical aspect, if you look at that, encrypted emails are stored on private blockchain with encrypted attachments are stored in a secured storage, right? We at blockchain level, we maintain that public keys. We do not maintain any private keys at that level, right? And proof of email transactions, right? Public private keys are used for encryption and decryption, like asymmetric key I told you, right? Private keys maintained and stored only by the user. Enterprise level, there is another layer of those encryption happens at the admin level. So it will be like a dual sign will be there, right? Always. Mail and attachment get decrypted only by sender or receiver at client end. And that even though it is on the network transfer, that time also it remain encrypted. So there is no chance whether it is in transit, whether it is at the server side or the client side, unless that keys has not been used, it cannot be get decrypted and read. So what is the benefit that we are going to get? All those kind of enterprises, and usually we are always having, whether we are whatever industry, right? We have certain groups, certain kind of communications which needs to be very private in nature, which requires lots of sensitive information that they cannot make it outside, right? That will get achieved with this kind of system. Another thing I will give you, unless or until you have not onboarded anybody from outside, you cannot be able to send them that information. what does it mean? It means that your employee cannot send to somebody even though they want. And I know and understand also, like right now we are putting lots of network or maybe firewall, that kind of security measure tools, everything, just to make sure that it is whitelisted and blah blah things, right? You have not to worry about that. Why? Because the system itself will not allow them to send anything to somebody who is not in the system. And that's the reason I'm saying that it's a closed loop system. Now we have also given one provision. So suppose you want to send somebody sensitive information, it can send a normal email to them saying that you have certain secured communication. This is the link to get onboarded. Now it does not mean that he will come and he will just get into that link and he will get onboarded to the system, because it requires an admin approval. So unless that will not get approved, he will not be able to. So that there is a way we can manage that, like outside communication also. But the point I want to make it here, that by mistake we cannot make any kind of like a blunder here, right? The another thing is we cannot get any spamming or lots of time phishing, spoofing, that kind of things, which very easily in current email system your header can be manipulated and it looks like somebody else has sent mail, but it is from some other email ID. We use some other technique, TKIM and all those things, but still there are some ways where they can just play around. Still we are seeing that big companies, they are losing that because of this kind of phishing or spoofing attack. Here it's not possible, because unless they are not in the system, they cannot send. And that is the reason we are saying that it will help to prevent that data breach, email spoofing attacks, and that control user behavior. Like sometimes what happens within the system, say for an example, a software company, right, IT company, not all the developers require outside email exposure, right? They have not to send outside anything, but the current email system allow them to do that. And to control that, we are putting all the security measure and many things, right? Here it is not required at all, because unless or until that particular person is not there in that system, he will not be able to send. So lots of user behavior can be easily managed, right? They will not get that right itself, right? So what we say, like we can onboard and manage all of our employees, or a set of employees who needs this kind of security, or maybe like R&D people, or maybe something where we are talking about financial, or maybe any kind of contract and all those kind of data, right? Yes, of course, this is perfect communication system. And individuals also we can onboard, like our vendors, clients, whoever, right, on secure communication platform. And we have not to worry about what is the domain specification. Why? Because internally it is getting mapped with your blockchain system, which is nothing but kind of, you can say, wallet ID, which is getting mapped with some human readable kind of things, which is nothing but your username or your email ID and all, right? So we have managed in that way. So you have not to worry about the domain specification. Low annual maintenance fee with local support, because it does not require, even though if you have 10,000 of employee of very big infrastructure, right? Because recently on one of the government department we are right now working with in Dubai, and we are able to see like that is not very expensive, and yes, we provide that local support also. So a question to you, everyone, like, okay, do you feel like the cost that can have if we do not have that email security, and what is the annual email security budget that we usually put as an enterprise and organization? If you are just looking for your own like an individual, you can go to our B2C platform, which is nothing but mail.ledgermail.io. And that B2C platform is available right now. It is free, and we can use it because we are just promoting people to come and join and experience that. So you can do that. Ledger Mail is the product name, and that is world's first decentralized blockchain-based email system right now. It is completely Web3 mail that we are building it here. So yeah, that is something I'm having. I'm also eager to get the questions from you guys if you have any.
Mr. Vinay,
yeah,
this is Ramesh here. Now, I think you addressed it, but I did not get it correctly. Now, enterprise-wide, this I call yours as an app, let us say, which is going to get integrated with my Office 365. Am I right?
Okay. For users perspective, yes, of course, we can integrate it with your any of the email client that you are using it, but it will nowhere it will be communicating anything with your either Outlook 365 or Office 365 or the Gmail business account.
Okay.
It will be a completely a separate system, right? Because the moment we will try to integrate with them, we have to use that email protocols.
Absolutely. That's what. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, then you need to please help me here. When you say that the mails or that attachments at rest is going to be protected, that's the main objective. Am I right?
Yeah.
Very good. That means, is that an app which is going to protect my PST files we are talking about? The entire PSTs are getting.
No. So you have not. So the moment you will use this system, you have
Okay.
not to think about those email, regular email system that we are using it.
Oh.
It's completely a different closed loop communication system, intercommunication system, which will be there in parallel of whatever you are using it.
Oh, it says okay. And then I summarize in my. I'm replacing that existing O365 with your email system. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Now I understand. Thank you. Because I was thinking otherwise how it will work, what kind of security postures.
Yeah, because see, at the moment we have to use that, we have to use the existing protocols like SMTP, we have to use with the TLS. We cannot do anything there.
Just to go back to one of your that architecture slide, if you don't mind, from Vinay sir.
Yeah.
I will not take much time because others may have lots of questions. Here. So sender. Okay. You are invoking your ledger mail directly. No Office 365 or any other web, right? So yours, then everything is happening. Okay.
So I have one question.
Tell me one another. Why this was not implemented by O365 itself? If
because no one has thought about
really
going out of the existing email protocols, which itself is in that nature, which does not allow you to get maximum level of security or encryption. Right.
Excellent. You said 2008. After that, it has not updated. That's
it has not been updated anything, right?
Okay.
So that is what, and then you just imagine like how the technology has been evolved.
So when my O365, when they say that it is end-to-end encrypted, I think you covered already. That is as part of the transmission protocol. They taken care of
TLS only.
TLS. Correct.
Yes.
So not.
And even I will tell you, if suppose you are using TLS, I am not using TLS. How it will come? It will come without TLS.
Right.
So what is the use of that then?
There you are. Thank you. I think I got it. Thank you very much, Vinay. I got it. Thanks.
Okay, I am having one question. I will just read from the chat. Are the emails get stored in private cloud store or reside in their cloud environment? If so, then what is on-premise storage system? Okay, I will tell you, like you can have in private cloud or you can have your on-premise also. So we have both the provision. Yes, is the system require one more level of user onboarding and offboarding of users involved? Yes, it is. It will be there, but it will not be that much painful, right? If you will compare with the security that we are trying to achieve there. But yeah, that will be there.
It's a one-time onboarding.
Yes. And does the solution integrate with MS Office Suite? Is email classification part of the solution? Okay, I will tell you, like, let me see if I can show you a small video on that, which will help you to understand what kind of integration it would be. There is another integration which we have recently done with the Outlook client. I'm not able to show you that, but yes, of course, definitely once that will be available, I will show you that as well. But let me show you something on first Gmail, and then I will show you on the Outlook also. So,
Vinay, in the meantime, the Apple's own proprietary mail system, right?
Yes.
Mail, even that it doesn't have what you are talking. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely, because see, the moment you are using current email protocols, right, there's no way you can go out of that.
Okay. No, I really, honestly, I don't know what Apple uses. Whether they are also using the same protocol, I need to check. But okay.
Are you able to see my screen, which is on Gmail?
No, not yet.
No, not yet. You have to share the screen instead of the app.
Right.
Yes, yes. Or share the whole screen.
Yes, I will do that. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Are you able to see?
Yes, yes, very much.
Okay. So if you look at, right, this is the normal Gmail.
Right.
Yeah. But if you look at here, we have one extension, which is our Ledger Mail. Right. How it works, I will tell you. So right now there, first you are going to create your user sign up and all those things. That is for B2C I was just talking about, right? So something on that line, somebody is doing it first time. And yes, now whatever you are seeing here, right, after a toggle button has been clicked, now this entire thing is nothing but from the Ledger Mail, which has no connection with your Gmail account. No way. But what we have tried to do is we have tried to make in such a way that people have not to go from one application to another application, or look and feel if they are compatible with one kind of application, then they should not feel like it's something new has come. So everything looks like similar, right? But yeah, this is going as in the Ledger Mail system, right? Which is like completely secure protocol, not using any of the existing email protocols, right? So just quickly wanted to show you that. Similarly, we have done with Outlook also, that web, and recently we have completed that Outlook client as well, right? So that is also available.
So when the mails, are they stored in your server or something else, or where do they get stored?
It will, for enterprise, it will be stored into that their own storage, right? In their infra.
Their infra cloud.
So they have to set up this Ledger Mail environment, like the Microsoft Exchange.
Definitely.
Okay.
I'm getting one more question. Yeah, so I will tell you one thing. What you are saying, I completely got it. You are saying if it is on cloud environment, that risk of cloud is still applicable to this system. Yes, of course. Even though if you are on premise, do you think that okay, it cannot be compromised? It can be. The question here is whether the data will be useful for them or not, because it will be completely encrypted, and each encryption will be with the private keys of those users, right? So there won't be any use of that data, even though they are able to. And another thing is cloud environment, there are multiple ways, like even though if you are creating your private and all, you can have that multi nodes and all with the different public private cloud, and many other options are available which can make those systems better. But yes, we tell them that if it will be on premise, that is always good, but yes, on the cloud also.
Very good. There are further questions there, Vinay sir, in the chat. Able to see, or you want me to help you?
Okay. Yeah. So integrate with MS Office. Okay, I have already covered. Can retention period be implemented for the emails and auto purging possible? What is this retention period? I'm not able to. Can you just anybody?
No,
Any data retention should have a policy.
in case after 3 years or 6 months, the email has to be purged, it can be done. Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We send emails from this system to the external recipients outside our organization. If other organization does not use your system, yes, you cannot. You will not be able to. You have to onboard them to your system. That's it.
So when you say you have to onboard them, they also have to give up their whatever current email system they are having, and they have to use this as their client.
No. So you can give that link, right?
Yes.
1 minute.
Now, Ramesh, what I understood
Yes.
is
Yes.
if I want to communicate with call size,
Yes.
okay. Now, a mail will come from call size, but it will not show the content. There will be
Right.
a
Link.
link which
Right.
I click.
Right.
Then I have to
Approved.
be onboarded, onto call size. So call size will have one set of people who are employees,
Right.
another set of people who are their customers and external people. But
Right.
all the email between call size and the customer is done through this system. Like say if ICICI Bank has got clients, now all the emails of ICICI Bank with their customers will be through this system.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what he said. I understood. So
Mm.
there will be a link, and then that link need to be approved by an admin guy within call size or ICICI. Then you are getting onboarded.
Yeah.
Then only you'll be able to see the contents of the mail. That's
Yes.
the
Now,
protection is
apart
giving.
from this, I can use my Gmail for sending
Correct.
it to another person or
Correct.
something
Correct.
like that. I
Correct.
don't
Correct.
have to change.
Correct.
But for my communication with your company, I have to use this because that is what you are saying.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. 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 Vinay, it is like earlier days we used to have some kind of I don't know that key we used to have. No, only what is that key, Vinay? I put that in my system.
RSA.
That RSA token. Thank you very much.
Yes.
So we are talking about like that without RSA token here. That link goes to that admin of that call size or ICICI. They approve it. Then they will be able to look at the contents of the mail.
Yes, and when they will onboard, that time there will be one key get generated which they have to maintain also at their end.
Very good. Same RSA concept. Okay.
Similar to that. Right?
Okay.
That's correct. That's
Sure. Okay.
right. I will tell you, as a user, you just imagine like your bank or any that kind of financial institute, when they are sharing lots of sensitive information to you, to your personal email ID.
Right.
How does we feel like, because there right now we do not have any other option.
Right. Maximum is password protection. But as you said that again, one more mail will come to tell me what is the password.
What is the password, or they will say that how to open the
Yes.
password. So your name, your date of
What I know or what I
will be
have.
there in your email, in some other email, not in that email, but in some other email, those information will be there. So if it is getting compromised, it's very easy to get all those things, right? So there is nothing like, okay, we are password protected with that.
No. The latest Uber's breach really tells us, right? Even with the kind of multi-factor authentication, the second one, a total failure.
Yeah.
Right. That 18-year-old kid had used that MFA fatigue concept, and then at one point he gave up and he gave that to that hacker. Yeah. Okay. So, there was a question by Adupu. Did you address that?
Yeah. I guess.
Yes. No. His question is, as the email data is being stored in the cloud environment, the risks of cloud still applicable to the system is what he's asking.
Yeah, that is what I told, that there is a two-way. One is like we are not saying that it has to be in cloud environment only, but at the same time, if some enterprise say that we use the private cloud or we use that cloud, right, they can still use that. That is what we are saying, with that whatever security they are maintaining there. But usually we are saying that our guideline is on premise, you should do that. But even though if it is in the cloud environment, since the data will be completely encrypted, right?
Absolutely.
And that encryption is not with the one private key, and that private key is not maintained at the server side itself, right? So that makes your entire system more secure. That will not be having any use of.
I think with this explanation, there is no risk in my opinion. Adupu sir, correct? No, because it's encrypted, even in the cloud.
Yeah, encrypted, which can be decrypted only with the private key of the recipient.
Absolutely. So it's highly protected.
Yes.
So one is that the cloud security, whatever that Azure or whoever provides, that security plus this email itself has got a facility there.
Yeah, this is security at the data level.
Absolutely. Very good.
Yeah, I think Ramesh Kauta has got a question, Vinay.
Yes.
Is this similar to securely share?
Where is it?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I think there is another company kind of brought similar solution, but not from the key point of view. They're basically kind of looking at the generating the mail and onboarding. So that was the authentication mechanism.
Yeah.
I'm not able to see his question.
Also there may be some solutions where encryption may be done by the particular company which manages the service. Here, the encryption is done by the private key of the recipient. So it goes beyond the intermediaries and puts the onus of security directly from sender to receiver kind of it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
right. So that was also similar model. That's what I mentioned.
Absolutely.
In fact, this was the benefit of this two-key PKI system of digital signatures which came into India in 2000. Since
Yep.
2000, nobody has been using it. And somewhere in between, in fact, Tata's, the TCS was one of the certifying authorities for some time. They exited the system. They had introduced the system where it would be, the digital signature certificate would be consisting of two pairs of keys. One pair of key for authentication, another pair of key for encryption. And this private, of course, the system there, how it can work is, the private key of the authentication system is confidential and it is held by the digital certificate owner. Okay, but the private key of the encryption system is escrowed with a regulatory agency, so that if the under section 69, if the government wants to have decryption, they will have a decryption key for the data. Okay, but not the authentication key. So this two-key system was introduced by TCS. Now actually SafeScript says that they also have a system. I have not used it, even though in 1 year I actually got the subscription, but there are no systems which are able to use that two-key system. So suppose I'm using an Outlook or say Mozilla, and I want to send an encrypted email to say Ramesh. I need to capture your public key, and then when the message goes out, it uses your public key and encrypts. Now, in this two-key system, the email system should be able to distinguish two key pairs at the other end, one for authentication, one for the encryption, and it should pick the encryption public key from the recipient and use it for encryption. I don't know whether our current default emails, which Mozilla or somebody like even perhaps Outlook, has that capability of having able to authenticate using my private key, encrypt using the recipient's encryption private key. Are you able to understand the problem? There will be 4 keys ultimately, okay, in this dual system. Out of the 4 keys, private key for authentication is confidential with the sender. Private key for authentication for the receiver is confidential at his end. 2 public keys are anyway not confidential. Now, this private key of the recipient, which comes in the second set of that key pair, that is known to the recipient. Plus, if the government introduces this escrowing system, which is again not in place, it would be available with the government agency. But my client should be capable of encrypting the data, identifying from the recipient's system. There will be one private key, which is for encryption, another private key for the one public key for encryption and another public key for authentication. It should not wrongly pick up the authentication public key. It should correctly pick up the encryption public key. I don't know whether such system is there. Maybe Vinay can.
No, it's not there. It's not there.
Yeah. So because of that, this 2-key system, even though SafeScript says I am offering it, I am not sure whether it is practically of use. Now, what this system is doing is that it's a separate system in itself. It is a complete system which manages the encryption of the public key. It is not looking at authentication. In my last discussion with Vinay, I was asking about that. So this is working presently at the encryption layer. Okay, it is not actually looking at authentication as per the Indian Information Technology Act. But in this sense, there are only one public key at the recipient's end, which has to be picked up, and that will be the encryption key. So as far as the security of the email is concerned, in terms of the data, it is fully covered. In terms of authentication, currently the authentication guarantee is only from the onboarding of the person by the system admin. When perhaps if they can link it to the current certification system in India, it will be even more valuable, I think.
Yeah, so just to update you,
Yeah.
Navisa, so we have looked into that. I was discussing with our technical team also, and that is possible. So we can do that. And
Yeah.
we will just do one small POC on that side, just to showcase that capabilities. I would like to take one question, and then I will also talk about one thing which is important here. Subba Raidu, his question was like other cloud providers, do we also provide key management solutions, or key management must be done by the user themselves? So yes, of course, we do not offer, because we provide them some kind of guidelines how they can maintain, manage, look at their hygiene at their side. But we do not manage, because again, it will be the same risk, right? If you will be trying to manage that with our solution, the private keys will be there. So we do not want to have that part. But yes, of course, there are multiple ways to maintain and manage at the user side also. Even at the enterprise level, we just guide them what can be done. Maybe like a hardware wallet kind of system, or software, and all those things, right? They can just think about multiple other perspectives, and the 3-layer or 2-layer kind of something they can do. But yes, we leave them on them only. But our that ledger mail system never maintain or provide any kind of key management solutions to them. Right. And one interesting fact which I was thinking just to discuss with you, or just describe that suppose that one organization right now, they are using this ledger mail as their intercommunication, or maybe that onboarding that vendor or anyone. There is another enterprise, and they are also using this ledger mail. We can make a very good communication between these two, because we can create a bridges to integrate and communicate from this organization to that organization. That onboarding part will not required in that case if they are already using that. And just imagine if that way we are having, and usually I'm just talking about not only that like corporates, I'm just talking about governments also. So if one department has adopted this, another department, and when they are doing that communication, right, it is completely secured, and they are not in that regular email system where that hackers easily spoof, spam, whatever they can do there, right? It's not possible at all. So that way we can just look at like how big kind of network we can build with this, and can achieve that like high level of security in that case.
Yeah, Bhimesh, you have any thoughts? This is an enterprise solution for your company.
Oh, sorry, sir, I was on mute. Yeah, actually I joined late.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I think it's a good one. And yeah, right, our Vaibhav is handling all these things. And we are, I think, good now, but we'll see. Something, pops up, we'll definitely, revert back to Vinay, So yeah, but good one so far. Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, I have one doubt.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
I'm not able to follow 100%. I was also late. Somehow I rushed, completed my talk at 7:05 and rushed here. But very interesting. But all these solutions which we are discussing, they are all having the same, this one. There is no out-of-box thinking that is happening. In the same way, we are thinking that we are having keys, that's a burdensome. Secondly, some agency to manage it, again, burdensome. So only then cloud, some other agency is going to handle. So we are all depending upon on our security by various people, but we do not have a lock on of our own where we can secure ourselves, our houses. Or
no, Kodandaram.
Is it possible?
No, in this case, the keys actually are random keys generated. So generated keys actually are not known even to the system owner. You use their application for generation, but you don't store it with them. That's what Vinay was telling, private key, they don't want to store. Okay. So one aspect which you said that we are dependent on them for key management is actually only at the time of generation of the key. It is generated, it is required. Once a public private key is generated at the time of onboarding, public key goes into the store because it will be required. Private key doesn't come out of the system of the person who is being onboarded. Okay, so that way that is taken care of. Rest of the things, I think the storage, you can have the enterprise server if you want, fine. When if you cannot have the enterprise server, you will be going for cloud. Now, cloud data in this system is only in encrypted form. Okay, but it will be a storage space. So that many GBs will be staying there. Okay, only as a unintelligible word.
No, Sorry to interrupt, sir. He already talked about purging, right? So you can always put a policy.
No, purging can be done. What he was saying is dependency. Now,
right.
Dependency for storage is with an external person, is what he's telling. Okay. Similarly, dependency on this key management. Key management is only technology. The generation happens, and then the storage gets into only public key is stored by the system. Private key is with each individual persons. Okay, so but technology dependency, you can say yes, it uses the keys. The RSA
during
technology.
the transmission, if there is leakage of such keys or mutilations to the keys, is it possible to regain
key is not
back?
transmitted? No, here the private key is not transmitted at all. Private key remains where it was generated. Public key gets transmitted. Leaking of public key is of no use. Vinay, I'm answering for you, but you can always counter me.
Very well.
Absolutely.
To understand.
Because for several years I have been talking about this digital signature system as a security for emails. Now I find one technology person giving a solution for that. In fact, if you look at my book on electronic signatures, which is their ebook on navi.org, I have discussed this kind of a requirement in the sense that the law enables it. Only technology people have not had not so far, to my knowledge, responded. And now we are having one person is able to bring it. And of course, he is using the blockchain. I think the term blockchain is being used in the context of storage. Okay. But otherwise, it is a system.
Navi sir, sorry to interrupt. Really, you touched an important question. Why he has used blockchain as the concept? Seriously.
Okay. I will tell you.
Thank you.
So what happens in case of blockchain? Your transactions, right? Mostly, not mostly, it is immutable. So you cannot remove that, right? And it gives you more trust on that case, right? So that was one reason that those transactions for making it as more trust and immutable, we were having that part there. But rest other things are there in your storage or maybe like that network and whatever, right? That it will be there.
Vinay, the blockchain is of the encrypted data only, no?
Yes.
Encrypted data plus encrypted data. Okay.
No,
so
see, encrypted will be we are doing that. But if you look at the blockchain, right? Usually,
correct.
It will not be encrypted.
No, correct.
Right? Only thing is it will be anonymous to anonymous.
I know. Okay. Yeah. Now, in your case, the basic data is itself encrypted.
Yes.
So the blockchain is built on the encrypted data only.
Yes. And then it will be immutable, right? So
I understand.
It's making sure like, okay, your transactions are not getting lost because
Sir, and one more.
Definitely need one more session from you, Vinay, on